Welcome to another episode of File on a Play. I am your host, Kristy Love with Team MBS Media, and it's another week, another episode of File on a Play. Thank you guys so much for rocking with me, and we have a lot to talk about. Last time we spoke, the schedule was not out for the NFL, and the Bears have their schedule, and the schedule is hard. However, I still have us getting over or at least 10 wins. The WNBA, the Phoenix Mercury, has officially started their season. They're playing their second game actually today against the LA Sparks. We're going to talk about that in game one, their first game of the season. And then also we are in the conference finals of the NBA playoffs. We have the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Minnesota Timberwolves for the Western Conference Finals. And then in the East, we have the New York Knicks versus the Indiana Pacers. I would have never thought it would be those two in the Eastern Conference Finals, but here we are. But before we get into that, make sure you guys follow your girl, Kristy Love, on Instagram and TikTok. On Instagram and Twitter at I am Kristy Love. Follow me on TikTok at Kristy Love Sports. I need to start posting more so I can go ahead and get over 1,000 followers. However, disclaimer, once it gets to the NFL season, I will be going live pretty much every single game on TikTok. I'll be going live to, do game reaction, like watch me watch the game and watch my actual reactions. I wish I would have went live last season. You guys could have saw my crash out week after week after week when the Bears had that horrible season with our old coaches and everything like that. But yes, follow your girl on TikTok at I am Kristy Love. And make sure you guys follow Team MBS Media on all social media platforms. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, Blue Skies, and also check us out online at teammbsmedia.com. Check out all of our content. We're dope. We're amazing. We do great things in these streets. Okay. Like our girl Ashmere, she is in the Bay Area covering the new WNBA team. I cover the Phoenix Mercury. I'll be out there soon. And just check us out. We are really dope. Okay. Okay, but first, let's go ahead and get into the NFL. The NFL went ahead and released the schedules for all teams. In the Chicago Bears, we have our schedule. First and foremost, looking at this, my initial reaction is the fact that we have a really early bye week. I don't like that. I don't like how we got an early bye week 5. Like, what is that? However, we can't change it, so it's there. Some people look at it as, since we have an early bye week, that means we have a good chance of fixing the kinks. It's still early in the season. So come after the bye week, we can go ahead and really get into the meat and potatoes of the team, who we are, identity. I get all of that. But it still sucks. Because you know how fast the NFL season go by. So it's like you want to blink, it's going to be week 17, week 18. But let's go ahead and break down the schedule for the Chicago Bears, and I'm going to give you guys the teams that I think will beat and we will lose to. So, week 1 in Soldier Field, we have the Minnesota Vikings. Thinking back of last season, we played the Vikings twice, if you don't know, in our division. They're in our division. The last time we played them, it was on, I want to say, Monday Night Football, and they just demolished us. Bad season. However, I think they really have a good defense. They have Brian Flores, somebody that I wanted on the Bears coaching staff for the past couple of years. He got that defense right. So with that being said, even though we're at home, the Vikings can definitely beat us in game 1, but that's okay. We have plenty more games we can win. Game 2, week 2, we are in Detroit playing the Detroit Lions. I don't see Ben Johnson going back to his old stomping grounds and losing to the Lions. I just do not see it. It's week 2. It's going to show, who he is as a coach for the first time ever. Playing against his old team, old players. Like, he's not going to go to Detroit and lose. That alone tells me the Bears are going to win. I don't see us losing in Detroit again. And we almost beat them last year with less. Granted, the whole situational timeout crap, we're going to beat Detroit. Week 3, Dallas Cowboys in Chicago. Who does Dallas have besides Dak? Oh, they just got George tickets, I think, but it doesn't matter. Um, Somebody told me that the Bears can lose to Dallas. I don't see us losing to them. We'll see. It's still early in the season. A lot of teams still working out the kinks of their team. We can go ahead and sneak a win against Dallas. Week 4, the Las Vegas Raiders. I know they got Geno Smith. They got Max Crosby. It could be a toss-up based on the defense alone for the Raiders. But the Bears can go ahead and beat the Raiders. Like, I'm not worried. Our defense is great. Our offense is good. We have a great offensive line. We're good. Then that goes into our bye week. By this time, the Bears should know exactly what needs to be fixed. Hopefully, we're still healthy. If not, rest up, get healthy for the next week. Come week 6, we play the Washington Commanders, and I've said this on another podcast that this is our revenge game. The NFL as a league, people still talk about that Hail Mary game. The NFL keep posting that Hail Mary clip on their Instagram, social media page till this day. I'm not sure why. Well, I know why, but we're going to be the laughing stock based on that game alone. So going into Washington again, we are looking for revenge. So I don't see the Bears losing, but if they do lose to the Commanders, I will not be surprised because they're a really good team. They have Jaden Daniels. They have a lot of weapons. Their tight end is really nice. So this one can be a toss-up, but I'm going to let my fandom show for a second, and the Bears are going to go ahead and smack the Commanders based off that Hail Mary alone. And I really hope Tyreek Stevenson has a great game because they still talk about him trolling the crowd prior to that Hail Mary, and he also tipped the ball in his hand, and the ball fell back into the dude's hand, which got the touchdown. I really hope Tyreek Stevenson has a great game, a comeback game, and the Bears get the W in Washington. But like I said, I would not be surprised. So let's go back. So far, I have us losing to the Vikings, winning against Detroit, so that's 1-1. Beating Detroit, that's 2-1. Beating the Raiders, that's 3-1. Bye week, so we're 3-1 going to the bye week. And then I'm gonna say 4-1 because we're gonna beat the Commanders, in my opinion. But like I said it before, Washington is a really, really good team. They went far in the playoffs this past NFL season. They beat the Detroit Lions, who's a really good team last year, but they lost bad to Philly. So I still think they're going to have a lot of that talent. They have a lot of that spark, great offense, defense. They're going to come back again this year and go far in the playoffs, in my opinion. So with that being said, this is a toss-up game for me. I will not be surprised if the Bears lose to the Commanders. So I'm going to say win, and we're going to be 4-1 after the bye week. And we're going to be 5-1 because we're going to be playing the New Orleans Saints in Chicago, and they don't have nobody. From what I'm mistaken, the New Orleans Saints don't even have any money. Like, they are in the negative last time I checked. This is an easy win. So 5-1 after the going into the schedule, 5-1. Then our schedule gets hard. We then go to Baltimore and play the Baltimore Ravens. Automatically, that's an L. They have Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. They have a lot of weapons, a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. Granted, last year their defense was shaky. I will say that, but it's Lamar Jackson at home. I feel like they're going to be hard to beat at the crib. So it's going to be our second loss of the season, essentially. Then the next week, we have the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm a Bengals fan. I love Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. Jamar Chase is arguably one of the best receivers in the NFL, in my opinion. He was getting, over 100 rushing yards in like a couple of games. Like, he's like that. And so, the Bears can lose that one too. However, somebody pointed this out, and I'm going to reiterate it. If the Bears beat the Baltimore Ravens, Bears beat the Cincinnati Bengals. Now throw in the Commanders in there. That's going to show us who we're made of. This is going to show the league that, oh, the Bears are for real. Those 3 wins will put us on people's radar that the Bears are back. Monsters of the Midway is back because we're beating top contending teams. People might argue Cincinnati because, they lost in the wild card last year, I believe. And, they really can't get past that hump of the playoffs for the Bengals. However, Baltimore is really good. People think Lamar should have won MVP, our people. And, Commanders are a good team. So if we beat those 3 teams alone, that's more than enough that we are going in the right direction as a Bears team. Because, I'm going to pause for a second. I've been saying this week after week. I have us winning 10 games at least. Okay. I want to see improvement. Every offseason, it's the same mess where we get so optimistic, with the offseason moves, offseason trades. People we get in the draft, words Ryan Poles is saying in the press conference that sound good. The training camp come, oh, okay, we're seeing this, we're seeing that. And then come the season, and then, preseason, we'll win a couple of games. Then come to the regular season, it's a complete 180. Like, what are we doing? It's a flop of a season. And then for Bears fans, they're back frustrated, all that extra stuff. So I tell that to say, if we beat those 3 teams, we are showing major improvement as an organization. And it's a huge step in the right direction. And even if we lose to the Baltimore Ravens or even the Bengals, if we still are competitive as a team and we still lose, then okay. Because, that's just my opinion. But like I said, if we beat them teams, y'all gonna be sick. Let's move on. After the Bengals. Okay, hold on. I got there's 1, 2. I have us losing 3 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 3. Going into the second part of our season. The New York Giants. Now the New York Giants do have some 2 good quarterbacks. They have Russell Wilson and they have Jameis Winston. It's amazing. As you all know, Russell came from the Pittsburgh Steelers last year. Him and Justin Fields argued for that quarterback job. He was hurt for the first 4 weeks. We started Justin Fields. Then Russell Wilson came back in and tried to get the Pittsburgh Steelers to the playoffs. They went to the playoffs. They lost in the wild card, I believe. It was just, he wasn't playing as good as he should have. And then he had Jameis Winston, who was playing with the Cleveland Browns last year. The Browns is just a bad organization. They're not going to win anything no time soon. We all know that. Both really good quarterbacks. That could be a trap game for us, but I have the Bears beat the Giants. So 6-3 on the season. And then we have the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. If I have to say any team that can possibly sweep us, it could be the Vikings, but they're in our division, and I'm just going to be honest, we're going to go 1-1. They beat us at our house, we beat them at their house. So 7-3 on the season. Then we got the Pittsburgh Steelers in Chicago. We're not sure who the quarterback is. It's still rumored that the Steelers might get Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is 40, 41 years old. He's towards Achilles 2 years ago. Last year he played for the Jets. Complete flop. Wasn't doing nothing. He's washed. I don't know why he don't retire. But that may be who the quarterback is. I don't know who the quarterback is. They do have DK Metcalf. So, we can beat them. We could beat them. I know they have TJ Watt too. We could beat the Steelers. So 9-3 on the season. Now our schedule gets tough again. We have the Philadelphia Eagles with that Black Friday game. We don't play well on primetime television. go back to last year. The Bears played the day before Black Friday on Thanksgiving against the Detroit Lions. I was there physically, and that game was a total bust on Thanksgiving in front of millions of people because of that last minute 30 where our old coach did not call a timeout to try to get the first down to get in the field goal range and to kick the field goal to tie the game and go to OT. However, we're playing the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly on Black Friday, and I'm just going to be honest, we're probably going to lose this game. That's probably going to be our fourth loss of the season. We're not going to win that game. We're not. I mean, we could. Don't get me wrong. We very well could because we have a really good defense. You know who our team is, but it's the champs. I don't expect us to win, but a win is always good against a good team. Next, we have the Green Bay Packers. And whoever made the schedule is tweaking because we play them. What week is this? We play them week 14. We play the Browns week 15. And then week 16, we play the Packers again. So we play the Packers in Green Bay. We beat them in Lambeau last year. The final game, I think it was the game before the final game of the season. We beat them in Lambeau. We can do it again. So we're going to go ahead and beat Green Bay in Lambeau Field, period. And then after that, we have the Cleveland Browns. That's going to be a win because they don't have nobody for real. Green Bay again. We're going to play them at home. We're going to sweep them 2-0. We're going to sweep Green Bay. I know I said before 1-1. Realistically, that might happen. However, the fan in me wants us to sweep Green Bay. That'll make everything 10 times sweeter in this season. So we're going to sweep them, go 2-0 against the Packers in our division. Then our final two games is the San Francisco 49ers, and we got the Detroit Lions. San Francisco, we played them last year. They completely beat the brakes off of us because I think Purdy had like 200 passing yards before the half. And then George Kittle had 100, I think, in the first quarter alone, or by the second quarter. It was crazy. So we're going to play them in San Francisco again. This could be a toss-up. They could potentially beat us. We'll see. I feel like the 49ers are falling off the rails. They started to last year. They only caught the Bears slipping because we were extremely garbage last year. But I think they are falling off the rails. They just paid Purdy all that money. I think it was overpaid, but we'll talk that later. And then our last game of the season is the Detroit Lions in Chicago. We're going to win. Last game. Well, you know what? Somebody mentioned this. I didn't think about it. Last game of the season, we're going to be in the playoff this year. And you know how it goes the last game or two of the season. The coaches don't play their starters. They rest their starters. So we could lose the last game of the season solely because we may not have a lot of our starters playing in this game, only because we're going to prep for the playoffs for the first time since 2018. So, but it's Ben Johnson's old team, so we'll see. We won't know. I'm jumping way far ahead, but that is why I will say we will lose this game because we're not going to have our star players. And if they do play, they're going to play like first quarter or maybe the first half, just like preseason. The team don't, or maybe like the last preseason game of the season, they don't play their starters for it. So I went through the whole schedule quickly, and I pretty much have us losing against the Vikings, Baltimore, Cincinnati. That's 3 losses. The Eagles, that's 4. Detroit, that's 5. San Francisco, that's 6. So 6 losses. And then for wins, ten and 6. I have us going 10 and 6, I think. 10 and 6 or 11 and 6. Either or, we're getting over 10 wins, period. Okay, so I'm excited for the season. The Bears are also doing OTAs at the moment. So, today. It's the second day of OTA for the Chicago Bears. And Ben Johnson is already putting people accountable, calling people out, calling veterans out who like I heard today, Cole Kmet was not in line properly, and Ben Johnson called Cole Kmet out. Cole Kmet is a vet on this team. He's been on the team. He's one of the longest players on this team going through the 3 different eras by Ben. So Ben Johnson is putting people on his P's and Q's early, and I like that. So keep it up. So I'm excited. After OTAs, it is, I want to say, mandatory rookie training camp, and then time, almost time for training camp. And then it's time for preseason and the NFL season. So I'm excited. I'm excited. Before I switch gears, I do want to shout out Joe Tooney. He just got signed a contract extension with the Bears. He's had a 3-year, $51 million contract extension, which includes $33.5 million guaranteed. He he got drafted to the Patriots, and he played for the Kansas City Chiefs. He was blocking Patrick Mahomes, and he was there during the Super Bowl times and AFC championships, and he started in a lot of games. So it's well deserved. He's going to block and protect our quarterback Caleb Williams as much as possible between him, Jonah Jackson, Darnell White, etc. So I'm excited, really excited and interested to see how this offensive line gels and hold up against great defenses. Because we cannot afford to have Caleb have another 67 sack year like he did last year. And like I always said, maybe or almost half of those 67 sacks was Caleb's fault. But yeah, let's go ahead and switch gears. Let's go ahead and talk about basketball. First and foremost, I want to give a big shout out to my boy, I'm going to say SGA. SGA, I don't want to butcher his name. But shout out to SGA. He won, it was announced today, he won MVP in the NBA. I've been voicing my opinion because he should have won last year, but Jokic won, which is also well deserved because Jokic is a double-double machine. He can post down low. He can shoot threes. He can get assists. He can facilitate. He can do it all on the floor. So it is well-deserved. But I really felt like SGA should have won last year. So new season, right now they are in the Western Conference Finals. SGA won MVP and it's well-deserved. Like, I don't hear nothing, no complaining, no arguing, no fussing, no fighting because, yes, Jokic could have won again this year, but SGA needs his turn. Scoring in the season, getting like dang near 30 points per game. I will say 3-4 rebounds per game, 6 assists coming around there. Well deserved. OKC Thunder, they have a lot of good players around him too. Well deserved. Like period. Let's move on. Right now, this is the playoff picture. We are in the conference finals. We have the New York Knicks playing the Indiana Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Timberwolves and OKC Thunder played last night. The Thunder won. My pick is the Thunder and probably the Pacers going to the finals. The game just ended against the Knicks and the Pacers, and I believe the Knicks won, which was my pick to win this game because the Knicks are at home. They have home court advantage playing at Madison Square Garden, and you know how it is playing in Madison Square Garden, okay? Oh, you know what? The game is still going on. It's 132 to 131, and the Pacers is up 1. Yikes. I had the Knicks win it. I need the Knicks to pull through New York. Well, I probably lost anyway because OG couldn't get 5 rebounds. And then I had Josh Hart getting under 6 assists. He got 7. So my parlay is cooked. And I had the money line for the Knicks. Oh, God. Because the Knicks were up like 12. I don't know what happened. Are they in overtime? I don't know what happened, but anyways, This is going to be a good series between the two, the Knicks and the Pacers, and OKC and the Thunder. Yeah, they're both good series, but the best one might be the Eastern Conference Finals, in my opinion. So, tune into my podcast. Well, in 2 weeks, it's not going to be a show next week because Kristy Love will be outside at the Kendrick concert. So, in 2 weeks, we are going to talk about what's going on in the conference finals. I will make a TikTok video. So, if I'm on TikTok, I am Kristy Love. I will talk more about the NBA finals. I will not be recording next week and such and such. So let's go ahead and switch gears to the WNBA. Y'all know I'm covering the Phoenix Mercury. Right now they are playing the LA Sparks in Phoenix. The starting five, as you guys know, Kahleah Copper is out. She had surgery on her knee. She'll be out 4 to 6 weeks. Then she's gonna come back strong. And this is what I love. The Phoenix Mercury got scoring help because even though Kahleah Copper is out, we have Alyssa Thomas and Satu Sabley at least that can hold it down and still get us the win. Like, we missed Kahleah Copper, but we have two elite scorers that can hold down the fort. Both players can get us 20 points at least. That's 40 points together. 40. Let's talk about the first game against the Seattle Storm. The Phoenix Mercury, they beat the Seattle Storm 81-59. Satu Sabley, she had 27 points. Alyssa Thomas had 20 points, 6 assists. Alexis Prince, she had 8 rebounds. So as the girls debut in the season opener, they did amazing. Both players had 20 points, at least 20 points. Like, scoring help. The Mercury was doing, but they were dominating on both sides of the ball, pretty much all game. This is a new Mercury team, y'all. They still have some mistakes, turnovers. Turnovers have been a big thing last year. Hopefully, they can limit the turnovers that happen and limit the other team, the opponent, to get second chance points, grab them rebounds, get them steals, shoot, make your own shot, slow down, don't always play fastball. But I'm not worried. Like they are playing the Los Angeles Sparks right now. The Sparks did lose their first game of the season, so hopefully the Mercury will win their second loss. We'll see. I will also say for the Mercury, they can also use some more scoring from the bench. So, when they rest Alyssa Thomas and Satu Sabley, the bench will go ahead and step up and keep the game at a nice momentum, a nice pace, keep scoring. Let the other opponent come back if you guys are up. But you know how it is when the bench come in. It's not always like that. Like I said, rebounding. Be consistent with getting rebounds. Don't let the opponent get second chance points, because that can also spark momentum for the other team to go on a run. And you know how it is to stop a team that's currently on a hot streak right now. So please try to get some rebounds. Transition on offense. We did have some fast break chances, but that did not convert over to buckets and scoring. So just work on that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I do want to shout out Caleb Williams. From what I'm gathering online, he did change his footwork adjustment all season, and he's looking a lot better. And I know I switched from football to basketball, back to football, but I do want to address this because it came out earlier in the week that Caleb Williams and his dad are going to be in a book, and it came out that initially Caleb Williams did not want to play in Chicago because his dad said Chicago is where quarterbacks go to die. And you know what? He mad, upset, frustrated. I told you so all you want to, but there's no lie that has not been told. Like, when was the last time the Bears were really developed a quarterback? You can't tell me. And if you can, it is from before I was born. I was born 92. So was there a quarterback between 92 and 2025 of the Bears that developed a quarterback? No, I don't think so. So there's no lie that been told. I don't know why it's coming out now, but remember last year before Caleb got drafted to Chicago, this rumor came out that his dad said that he did not want to come to Chicago. But I think he cleared the air saying, "Oh no, it was false." Now it's back up again a year and some months later, that he did not want to be in Chicago. You know, I don't blame him because Chicago sports, like management, Chicago sports are so dysfunctional, toxic. They don't know what they're doing. Look at the Bulls for an example. Um, Pack for a long time was bad until they broke that up. Then AK thought he was the truth, but hasn't done anything in Chicago for real. They re-signed um, Billy Donovan to whatever. They signed Patrick Williams to that super overpaid, whatever overpaid benefit Detroit. And then look at the Bears, for example. Um, they re-signed Fluke or whatever. I guess the defense, but still. Ryan Poe still has a good job. This fails. Ryan Poe is still doing like as a GM. If this don't get there's a lot of bad things, toxicity and toxic and just all bad, all bad. So I don't blame his dad for saying that. I wouldn't want to come here either. Plus the cold weather, but it's really, really good for our city. So yeah, it's a lot of good for that. Obviously, really good city for our teams. Obviously, through thick and thin, obviously. So I'm gonna that. So I do want to say that. There was a lot of trolls on. I even got trolls last week. So I knew Caleb did not want to come to Chicago. It was like the Bears drafted the quarterback that they wanted to and traded away a quarterback that knew the scheme, that knew how to work with his head, you know, so toxic, and traded that away. Losing in New York, we're hoping that he'll come alive in his second year. Like, but you know, as I feel like we're gonna rely on him. That's what the Bears wanted to pick. So but I'm gonna go ahead and end this. I have been rambling a lot. There will be no show next week because Kristy Love will be outside. And tomorrow will be third. I'm gonna try to. I have time. Chicago Sky will be in Phoenix playing the Phoenix Mercury. Try to do something maybe get credentials to get some type of content, but we'll see. We'll see. Because what's going to rent it downtown, he's going to be at State Farm. Like, that's like on the other side. So I'm going to try to work it out, but if not, that's right. But anyways, let's go next week. I'll be back in 2 weeks. All NBA playoffs because the top teams have knocked out, but we have to do good. So we'll talk about more OTAs and training camps. Make sure you guys follow your girl on TikTok. Love and follow MBS Media on everything and check us online at MBS Media. Thank you all for watching with me. Another episode of me talking my sports. Thank y'all. See y'all later.